Gardening talk time here, folks. This is the morning gardener, and it's still kind of early. Here it's 8:14 a.m. in the day, and what I'm going to do now is get myself together, and I'm going out into the yard, and I'm going to, survey everything, see how everything's growing, come up with some plans to get these tomatoes in the ground. It is still time to get them in there here in Maryland, and I'm going to get them in there, and then once that takes place, you can smell the success. You can smell the success. I had a good time in the garden yesterday. Even though I wasn't able to spend a lot of time in the garden, it was very hot yesterday. I stayed clear of that. I try to respect nature so that I don't be passed out there in the yard somewhere. Now, the thing about it is the garden is acting the way I wanted to act this time of year because the planting holes that I'm creating are so big. They're big. I put a plant in, it's at least 2 feet across the hole, and then so you have loose soil that's 2 feet. So I always say put it in a $40 hole, and you just putting that plant in there, and it's just a little 2 cent, 3 cent plant. I put it in a $40 hole, so that when it starts to grow, it can just run its roots as far out as naturally it wants to. And that's a little tip that I've been using is that don't not put them in the hole that they need. Um, and when I use the pitchfork, I'm loosening up the ground 2 feet around where that plant's going to be sitting in. So it's a beautiful, beautiful setup. Instead of starting off with just a real small hole and having the plant have to dig through that that soil. So I don't want it to dig through the soil. I want it to have an easy time going through the soil. I want it to have enough food. I want it to be watered, and I want the plant to be cared for. We've been getting quite a bit of rain. I haven't had to worry about raining, but I'm going to have to set up my pump system so that I can tie it into the barrels and have it running and have some water when I need it. Also, liquid feed, liquid feed, liquid feed, liquid feed. It's a beautiful thing, folks. Liquid feed is. Um, and so we're going to get that online. Then I got some potatoes that I need to mound up in the containers and get that done and out of the way, and so that we have potatoes that will grow potatoes instead of just the plant itself. So on that note, folks, before I head out and do what I got to do, we are going to make absolutely certain that we get everything done correctly and on time and on schedule. That's also important. It's also important. I'm just thinking now, just thinking for a second. It was wonderful that we have definitely had as much success as we had this year so far is because I'm following the basic steps, basic stuff, basic stuff. Digging up hole, the right soil, fertilization, watering, um, paying attention to the plants, checking them each day, not just when I feel like checking them, but because you don't want to just put the plant to the ground and then figure that's it. That's it. Hello, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning to you. All right. Um, just talking about my plants. That's my favorite subject. Talking about them, making sure that they're doing well, and they are. And I was just telling the last person that was in the room, I was telling them that you have to make sure there's a big enough hole that they're in. I call it a $40 hole for a 2 cents plant, and that's what I do. I like to do that because it definitely makes certain that I have enough of room for the roots to run. So my trick is, or technique is, I like to grow roots, and I make a big enough hole for those roots. And but you have to. Everyone that's within earshot, both of you play this back later. Get a manure fork. You will look at me later on and say, That guy knew what he was talking about. Get a manure fork. Just get one. Get a manure fork. $8, $9. I don't know what they are now, but you got to get one that fits right in your hand comfortably. Get a manure fork and use that on your soil, and you will slide your shovel to the side. That's what you'll do. You'll slide that to the side. Manure fork will help you to loosen your soil up. It'll help you dig holes easier. It will help you open up and get rid of roots in that area real easy. Because once you uh, uh, poke the chimes in and rock back, come back 2 inches, 3 inches, poke the chimes in, rock back. Once you do that, whatever whatever weed is there, it's going to loosen it up, and you can just pick it up out of the ground. You don't have to pull it, yank on it, or anything. And that is a beautiful thing. So I have quite a bit of weeds that have grown so far since the last time I had an opportunity to go out there with the mower. And I told all you good people that um, I do not plow my soil, what they call it, till it. I don't do that. I don't believe in that. I will not do it. I used to do it years ago. Um, but I could go into a patch of weeds, right into a patch. Put that manure fork in 2 inches, 3 inches. Just keep going back and forward through it. And what will happen? Good morning. What will happen with the manure fork is that once I'm completed my area of 2 feet across, I will have number one, I'll have completely loose soil. Number two, the weeds that are on top, I will be able to pick them up, not pull at them, not yank at them. I'll be able to pick them up, shake them off, and I will have a completely bare hole right there. Good morning, realtor. I love my manure fork. Oh, you have a manure fork. You're already ahead of the game. Um, but have you used your manure fork in that fashion? Have you used your manure fork the way that I'm talking about now? So some people, some people use manure forks for different reasons, but I use mine for digging, and I like it better because it pokes right into clay soil. It loosens soil. It allows me to remove weeds effortlessly. I didn't think that was going to come out with this. It loosens the soil. Yeah, it loosens the soil. And so once I do that, I am able to push the soil aside, drop the plant in, push it back, and then do whatever else I need to do with that plant. But after loosening the soil, I just make certain that I do not walk in that area, period. Don't come anywhere near walking in that area because I don't want to, undo what I did. And the plants react to having an environment where they can thrive without pushing heavy clay soil around. Um, they'll do it to an extent, but it's just a lot of work. It's a lot of wasted energy for the plant, and I need the plant to focus on one thing: growing tall and strong, and producing me with the tomatoes that only a king, you know, something from my childhood. But anyway, but that's what I do. I definitely want to grow beautiful plants, and I can do them in an environment where, and I use the weeds for a reason. I mean, once I pull these weeds out of the ground and shake them off, I just set them to the side. Remember, chop and drop, chop and drop. I do not get rid of those weeds because they're nothing but fertilizer. They're nothing but mulch. I know what I'm doing. When I do that, I've been doing it for many years, and I can always learn. But the thing about it, when I do it this way, that that green manure, if you will, those weeds, when you lay them to the side or root side up, you got nothing but mulch. You can lay them down. You could actually put the plant in the ground if it's big enough. Put the plant in the ground and put them right around the plant, right back around the plant with the root side up, and you have free mulch. free mulch. Doesn't look that great, but it works. And that's the thing about it. And as the weeds get older, they improve your soil, they become fertilizer. The worms love it. I have a short one for compost. Um, yeah, I know. I think you're talking about a little 4 foot short, a 4 foot fork. Kind of hard to work with. I gotta tell you that much. Depending on how tall you are, it's kind of hard to work with. Um, the chimes, I don't know how long those are. Mine are about 8 inches long. Um, and they're about $8. I think I got mine at a Walmart because you go to some places they're gonna try to jack you for $30 or $40 for the fork, and you don't really want to do that unless you say, "This is the last fork I'm gonna buy in my life. I want a good, best, 100% quality with a back warranty from a company for at least 5 or 6 years." And get the fork. You will not regret it. You will not regret it at all. I mean, I love my fork. Out of all my tools, I gave away a shovel. Excuse me. I gave away a shovel this year that I used for many years. I gave it away because the neighbor said, "I'm going out to buy a shovel." I said, "Here, take this one. And if you decide to use it or keep it, keep it. But if you don't, then you go ahead and buy your shovel." Um, and so I want to get rid of that shovel because I had a shovel. I purchased a spade shovel, 8 inch handle or 8 foot handle, 8 foot, uh, some time ago, and I got rid of it. And then I purchased this little short little 4 foot shovel with a cylindrical spade. Weird using it because it feels like it's gonna break off. It does. You hear it cracking or moving around while you using it. I said, "Oh, that's not good. I mean, your soil is too hard. This shovel is not designed to do what you're trying to do." Uh, Good morning to all. Jay. Hey, good morning. Good morning. I need my glasses, folks. Uh, but so what's going on is clay soil is easier to work with when you're using number one, that manure fork. All hands down to that, it works better. And you will stick it in there occasionally and hit a rock, but it's easy to go around it because of the way the chimes are set up. What's the other one? That cylindrical spade shovel. If you have to put a plant in the ground that's in a container, and you say, "Well, I got the whole root ball. I'm gonna just dig enough room for the root ball." Yeah, dig that sucker, drop it in the ground, loosen those roots up, set it in the ground, water it in, feed it, and keep on moving. And that's how you do it. And so when I do that, I'm all set. I But I used to do some weird stuff because I was learning gardening from these books that I used to buy from Ollie's, and it said a complete guide to backyard gardening, and it was really crazy. They were showing me crazy stuff. It was like they were telling me early in the spring when the soil could be worked, go out there with your tiller and till up your soil, and that was wrong. Then it was telling me use fertilizer 10-10-10. That was wrong because it's telling you to use a man-made fertilizer that will in turn damage your biology in the soil. So it was telling me that. What else was it telling me that was weird? Oh, grow your plants in a straight line. Yeah, you can grow them in a straight line if you want your neighbors to know that you have food over there growing. You can grow them in a straight line, and your neighbors will look over there and see the plants, and they say, "Oh, goddamn, my check didn't come this month. I got to get over there." And they'll see your tomatoes. They'll see them before you do because they'll keep an eye on them once a week or once a day, whatever. So I don't grow in a straight line. I grow in circles, squares, whatever, and I have my plants carry the appearance of weeds. I want them to look like weeds. Nobody knows they're there. And once you get near the cooler months, you have less activity in your area. and you have like less chance of someone bothering the plant. The only plants that I really tell that you have a garden there, and can anyone name that? Can anyone name that? What plant will tell the whole neighborhood you got a garden there? Go ahead and type it up there. Okay. All right. I'm gonna help you out there. A couple more seconds go by. See what plant tells the whole neighborhood that you have food there. All right. Give up. Okay. It is corn. Corn tells the whole neighborhood that you have a garden there. Corn does. One of the least likely plants to tell people that you have a garden there, and that's potatoes. You could plant potatoes right in front of people, and they won't know what it is. They won't know what it is. Um, you know, because no one ever goes in a yard and pulls up somebody's potatoes unless they are a gardener themselves. They know what the plant looks like because the plant does have a distinct look. Um, Carrots can be hidden. Carrots can be hidden if you grow them in circles or squares or whatever. Carrots can be hidden. If you grow them in a straight line, everybody know they're carrots. So that being said, went outside yesterday and I was really shocked. All of my cherries are turning beautifully red. I took some shots of them because they were just too pretty to not take pictures of. They are cherries, and they are very, uh, in my opinion, they're hard to care for because of the life cycle of some of the insects that eat the cherry. They go in the ground at a certain time, they come out of the ground at a certain time. They crawl up into the tree, they go into the cherry, they leave a nice little white maggot inside of the cherry. Um, and then when they finish doing what they got to do, they go back down to the ground. So you can spray the cherries all you want. If you spray them in the wrong time, you're going to get nothing because they already in the ground and back up in the tree when times you think they're not there. Um, Another one, hard to grow. Peaches, hard to grow. Everything on earth likes them just like you do. And they go inside, they pierce them. If they just drink a little bit of these insects, if they just drink a little bit of the fluid or the juices out of the peach, they leave a large vessel open and hole for different diseases and bacteria to get into, and then it rots the peach. Or they go in and just impregnate it with eggs, and then some other insect hatches out and starts to eat the peach. So they're pretty difficult to grow. Peaches are. Peaches are something that if you grow them, you're gonna be thinking about all the time because everything loves eating them just like you do. So some people would even recommend don't even grow them, don't even grow the peaches. But I'm not gonna listen to that because I love peaches and they grow great and they taste great and they taste better when you grow them yourself. So I'm gonna have to deal with some of the issues of growing peaches. But everything likes to eat peaches as well. Everything likes that soft flesh. It's easy to get to, especially when the peaches start getting to a point where they start ripening out, and then everything starts coming around and saying, "I smell, I smell the sugar of the peach." And they go for it. Birds, squirrels, you name it, all different types of insects. They come from different places and know that you got peaches there. Yeah, these bugs are designed to home in on their favorite food, and they will sit. And you'll see them sitting on the leaves, and it look like there's some kind of little colorful little fly. And he's not a fly. He's a peach eating machine. It's the best way to put it. He's a peach eating machine, and he wants the peaches. The same thing goes for plums too. Um, Apples will get holes drilled into them. We all know that, but you stand a better chance with apples. I've seen birds that will, you know, I don't mind a bird. Here's what I'm at. I don't mind a bird if you take one apple and you peck at it, peck at it, peck at it. But when he peck at one, go to the next one, peck at the other one, go to the next one, peck at the other. Now crows will do that. Crows will peck, peck, peck each apple. They don't care, man. It's like they're trying to be vengeful about it. And they pick one apple, they eat it, and they go, okay, go to the next one, go to the next one. They'll take a bite out of each one of them, and they will make that apple look like you don't want to touch it and eat it. So you imagine a crow could go through 12 of your apples each day just for the hell of it, just for the hell of it. And he's not trying to be, hey, morning gardener, hello, how you doing? Hello, how you doing? All right now. People are coming into the room and just enjoying, the conversation, and I appreciate that. But in a few moments, just in mere moments, I'll be back into that beautiful backyard of mine. I don't think I'll shoot any more videos today because everything, I don't want to shoot too many videos and they all look the same. Well, it's the same plant. Or it's the same, it looks the same size and everything. I like for them to get some significant growth on them so when you see them. But my plants are growing so fast this year. The only thing I would say is growing kind of slow, and that is the corn. Now, when you notice your corn is growing slow, guess what you want to do, folks? Can anyone throw a word right there on the screen? What do you want to do when your corn is growing a little slow? Your corn is growing slow. Now, you grow them in a sunny location. You got that covered. That's it. That's it. Feed it. Because corn, if it doesn't stay on schedule, it will sit there and dwarf on you. And it will sit there and you'll go, wait a minute, it's not growing tall anymore. What's going on? And you have a plant that grew tall like grass, which is the grass, and it will look like, yeah, nitrogen, yeah, it's another type of feed, but yeah, you said the same thing. That's the best thing to get it to start moving is that nitrogen. Um, some people use a fish emulsion, some people use, and one of the best ones to use, but very few people know where to get it or how to use it, and that's urea. Urea. It's a slick word for saying urine. That's what it is. A slick word for saying urine. 46% nitrogen. Zero of the other two, but 46% nitrogen. And of course, what other medications you may be taking. The urea is just pure nitrogen, and it's incredible. Walmart so far is cheapest for the fish fertilizer. Okay, stick a price up there. What does it usually cost now? I've seen $10, a little over $10. Because you go to Lowe's, they're gonna rip you right over the coals. Everybody knows that. Lowe's is gonna. Let's see, realtor put. Oh yeah, that's cheap. Yeah, $7.86. Oh yeah, that's cheap. Thank you. Thanks for putting that out there. I wish more people would definitely put the prices up there because I hear people they'll do a video and they'll say this doesn't cost very much. It's a good price, but they won't tell you the price. They can tell you the price where they bought it at. Get a general idea. If we listen, if we stick together and help each other grow more food, we'll be better off. All of it. We'll actually be better off. You'll be happier. You'll help one person. They'll help another person. You'll help that person, and back and forward. And it will help everybody eat better, stay healthier, and live longer. I have friends who fish and just start planting. Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful. That's it right there. I've been talking about that using the fish guts if you have access to it in your location. If you use the fish guts, pour it right in the hole and deep enough so that the critters don't go in there and be pulling that stuff out at night. Leave it on your porch, leave it in your neighbor's yard, or just eating it out, just ripping it out of the hole there. Use coffee grounds. Coffee grounds is another one. Um, um, it's a definitely a godsend. You go up there. Some days you're driving around, you got the SUV out there, you got a plastic bag in the back, maybe two, and you just drive by your local store, and you drop in and say, "Hey, how you doing? Good evening, everyone. Hey, how you doing?" And grab as many bags as you can in a heavy duty Glad bag, heavy duty. That way you don't have that stuff leaking all in your car or whatever. And then you put it in the car, take it home, add it to your plants, add it to your compost pile, whatever, and you are off and running. Use coffee grounds, absolutely. I cannot agree with this, Mr. Price or Mr. Price. I can't agree. I agree 100%. I say, uh, Yep. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's see. Okay. Well, see now. There we go. I love what you put there. Backyard gardener. I say a bag. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. Uh, yeah. 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 You bug them, but they should have that stuff there though. Because I went into too many of the places where they have the coffee that they sell. These places. What is it called? Dunkin' Donut. I went into them. I think I went into a Starbucks some years ago. And I asked a young girl, I said, "Hello, how you doing? You have any spent coffee grounds?" She said, "No, no." And I'm looking at this thinking, wait a minute, hold up. I come in these stores. Let me explain something here. When all of when at the average gardener, and I use that term loosely, the average gardener has quit gardening. It's the dead of winter. Everything is iced over. We're in the middle or the beginning of winter. Everything. I'm actually buying my supplies now. I'm actually buying my supplies right at that time. I'm getting mad stuff on sale. I'm buying cow manure that the bags are frozen solid like a brick. I'm buying this stuff. It's a lot easier to carry when it's frozen solid. I have had the gardening department in Lowe's opened up. They had a big sign on there saying gardening department is closed. I got tired of walking by it. I said, no, we ain't gonna do that. No, we're not gonna do that. I'm looking through the little window, and I'm looking at all these bags of black cow back there, and I'm saying, why did they have this closed? So anyway, I get with the guy. He says, "Oh, the gardening department's closed, sir." He don't know what he's talking to. I am the morning gardener, and I'm called the morning gardener because I start early and everything. And that means I got to get in there to my supplies. So that's what I had to do. And I got in there to my supplies, and he got somebody, managerial with the two badges instead of one. And so he gets in there and he opens it up and he follows me around. He's got this look on his face like this guy is nuts. Here it is, a dead of winter, and he's in here bugging me about some cow manure. So anyway, I dismiss this look and understand that he's, just working a job. He's probably tired. Um, so I go in there and I grab everything I want and I put it in the little long bed thing. And so I go load up the Cadillac, which that's what I call my Jeep. I load it up, and once I load this sucker up, and I'm looking good, I'm headed down the street, and I can't believe it because I am looking good. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, I can't believe this. Words cannot explain how it feels. Um, mm. So anyway, that's what I do, folks. I get the stuff so early, and then I hit Home Depot because Home Depot always got fertilizers they getting rid of, and I go down there that aisle and they got something that they discontinued because they said this is not selling well, or the people don't understand the packaging, so it doesn't sell well, or the people think it smells bad, so they discontinue. So I go right in there and get it. And all I'm looking for on that packaging is to see organic. Once I see organic, it goes in the cart. So I grab one of the flatbeds, I load it up out. I get about 10 bags of something that was $8 a bag. Now it's marked down to $2. I load it up. And I grab something else. Oh, what are these boxes over here? Organic. Uh, Organic from whatever company. Um, it was $7 a box. Now it's 98 cents. I just grab the whole shelf and rake it off, and I am so happy. I'm so happy. Then that continues. Just not that one trip. Because then about a week later, they got another item that's marked down and getting ready to go. There was a very expensive fertilizer called, I don't know if any of you use it, but it's called Dr. Earth. Dr. Earth did me a favor this year. I actually called the company and we had a long conversation. And he was saying, listen, we only did that because our numbers show that the product wasn't moving, and therefore we discontinued the line. Because here's what they do. They take these fertilizers and they confuse the hell out of you because it's really confusing all the different types of fertilizers they have, some liquid, some not liquid, and you got all these fertilizers that are really not what you think they should, it confuses the hell out of you. Some of them got smells, some of them don't have smells. And they got all this kind of stuff. It's just weird. He seems so nice. He seems so nice. I don't know what that means. I guess you're talking about me or someone else. But thank you. If you're talking about me, thank you very much. And so what happens in turn is that you get all these different fertilizers. So I stick with one basic thing. Organic. It must be organic. If it's a reputable company, it must be a reputable company. Don't sell me stuff and tell me that, hey, this is oh, thank you very much. You were referring to me. Thank you. I try. But you get the fertilizer that you want, and you get a dirt sheet, but Dr. Earth claims to sell a fertilizer, and he puts the top ingredients in it. Now, if you see the price that the stuff is, you'll say, okay, yeah, he's selling gourmet. He's selling gourmet fertilizers. So you know how that is. So once you do that, you are all set. I mean, you put the right fertilizer down, your plants will respond in turn. So I love it, folks. I love it. I love it. I get out there and I do my thing. And so I got on the phone with him, and he was telling me all these alfalfas in it, and then there's all these other ingredients that are in it. I had a chance to use it this year because I had ample supplies of it. I have ample. I went and probably purchased, and I've never did this in my life. Usually $20, $30 worth of fertilizer carries me the whole year anyway. And this year I did about $350 worth of fertilizer, easy. And so I have blood meal. Only thing I could not find, and everybody grabbed them up first when they first put that on sale. That was bone meal. They grabbed all the bone meal. They emptied the shelf out. I got there. I said, bone meal. That would have been a perfect match for my blood meal that I had. So I got ample packs of blood meal. Ample packs. When I say ample, I mean packs and packs of blood meal. Big bags of it. So when you see those sales, don't say to yourself, I'm going to get a bag and I'll be back tomorrow. Because it's not going to be there. It's not going to be there. It's not going to be there. Some of the people work there in the store gardens. They're going to grab it. So anyway, if you use a good quality fertilizer, and they had fertilizers that people were making using trash from restaurants, all kinds of vegetables and fruits and everything. They use it and they repurpose this stuff. And they have to keep some kind of standard of what actually is in it. I'm quite sure there's some kind of. Good morning. I've been up here now for about 35 minutes. I said I'd hang around for a few more minutes, and then I'll be headed on out there into the garden. My morning ritual. Hey, everyone. I I had a good time this morning talking about all of the adventures that I've had coming into gardening season this year, from purchasing fertilizer at a dirt cheap price to making fertilizer from roots and weeds and things. So I still do that. I still. Oh, and by the way, I still absolutely definitely do the thing with the weeds. They are fertilizer. They come first. Actually, they get used first, and then I use the stuff I buy as a little touch up here, there, whatever. If I don't feel like digging any roots or making any that day or that week, I'll use it. Now, the fertilizer that they use from the restaurants where they make um, the, uh, the vegetables and fruits using that stuff, they don't sell that well, folks. Those some of the main bags that I was getting, they don't sell that well. Why I don't know, but they grow beautiful. They the bags are confusing, folks. The bag they'll tell you this fertilizer is for tomatoes. This is for fruit trees. This is for watermelon. This is for and so when you get your head starts swirling around, you say to yourself, I don't know which one to get, or should I get all of them? I don't have enough money to get all of them. I can't afford all these fertilizers. What do I get? What do I, let me tell you something. They have fertilizers called all-purpose fertilizer, organic. You can actually start there. Fertilizers say for tomatoes, and there's another one. And let's say you got fruit trees out there. You got um, bushes that are called fruit bushes, like raspberries and things like that, blackberries. You get a flowering fertilizer. Perfect. I'm telling you. Once you get blooms started, that's your fruit. And people can't seem to make that transition from flowers to raspberries, flowers, fertilizer, to fruit trees. But a fruit tree, if you break it all the way down, is nothing but a plant. It's a plant, and it produces flowers, which in turn turns into a sack with a seed in it. If you break it all the way down, it's just a sack, and it has seeds in it. It's nothing but a flower. Once you put that together, you got it made. You won't be confused when you go in there. You say, what are you trying to get the plant to do? If you have apple trees, what are you trying to get the apple tree to do? Early in the spring, it's producing these buds. You see the buds on there, they're fruiting buds. You look at them and you go, okay, those are fruiting buds. I know what they look like. That's the time you put around that tree your fertilizer that's designed for flowers. When you put it around there are certain numbers in the mixture that are higher or formulated so that you can produce flowers quicker or bigger or whatever. That's the fertilizer. For all your stuff that's flowering, you keep it simple that way and say, all I need is a flower fertilizer. If you see on the package, it shows uh, will flower, roses will flower, these plants will flower. That's what it's telling you. It's formulated to create flowers, and that's what you want. So that's what I remember each time I go out. If you want a peach tree loaded with flowers that year, when those buds start to swell, that's when you put down your fertilizer because the fertilizer is going to go down into the root zone, which you saw my technique where I actually pour my fertilizer down into the root. I don't put it on the surface for the rain to wash it away and all that. I don't have money to waste. So I put it down 6 inches down into the root zone of that tree. And after I make about 3 holes around that tree, depending on the size of the tree, it might be 2 holes if it's a small tree that was planted a year ago or whatever. I might put only 1 hole. Put about a cup down there on that plant, or excuse me, tree. I don't want to confuse anyone. Put about a cup. Once I put that cup down there in that hole, the tree is going to do nothing but respond. Because remember, they're simple pumps is all they are. They pump stuff out of the ground and they, They grow from what they eat, and they eat food that is in liquid form. Liquid form. They don't have the ability to chew stuff. Um, so when you put the fertilizer down there, the plants start responding. They respond. They're like children. You have to take care of them. You cannot feed them once, go away, and say that that plant's fine. It's not. The next week is going to be hungry. And how can you tell this? You'll get your blooms, you'll get your fruit start coming on, and guess what the fruit will do? They'll stall on you like this. They'll stall. And when they stall, it's telling you that, look, I don't have enough energy to make this fruit big enough yet. So you're going to have to help me out because if I was in the wild, I will be able to get my food because if the animals walking around crapping, there would be different types of plants living and dying around the tree. But if you got in a nice manicured lawn and you got the tree in the center and you got your little store-bought wood chips around it, that tree is in a very unnatural environment. It does not have the ability to go get any food. So when people see me out there on my property, and my neighbor grows grass and he's cutting it, he's putting it in his wheelbarrow to roll it to the back of his yard and dump it and forget about it. I tell him I want that stuff. So I put all of this stuff around the tree. And the only bad thing about putting grass clippings around your tree is they make your tree grow crazy. And your tree starts getting all tall and lanky and everything. And that's the only problem because grass is high in what? Nitrogen. And nitrogen makes your fruiting trees grow crazy. So once you get the tree to the size you want it, don't keep feeding that tree a whole bunch of nitrogen if you don't want it to grow out and get crazy. Because it'll get wider and taller, all because you're giving it nitrogen. But you can use it if you got like a young tree you just bought and you say, I'm tired of waiting all year for this tree to grow all over the place. You put some grass clippings around that tree and down at the base of it, 6 inches from the trunk. And what will happen is as that grass decays, it will feed ample supply of not only nitrogen to it, but the other three as well. So but the tree is going to size up on you real quick because you're using ample supplies of nitrogen, and that's a great thing when you do that. When you do that to your trees, when you say, I want this tree to grow. So each fertilizer has its benefit. Now I told a lot of you I use a combination of weeds and grass clippings. And a lot of these videos, a lot of them, and I don't want to get on the tip me knock the videos. I don't want to do that. But when you have people on there telling you, oh, use comfort, use comfort, use comfort, and they're telling you only because they deliver a message. Some people are perceiving it as only using comfort, and that's a message you keep getting because comfort is high in nitrogen. Okay, we get that, but what about the other weeds? Because I have plenty of those. Can I use some of those too? They won't tell you that part, that these weeds are all beneficial. Let me just put it to you like this. Go look at my recent videos that I just put up. If you get time, look at the color of my plants I'm putting in. All that soil has been treated for years with weeds and grass. That's it. Weeds and grass. Weeds and grass. And when do I put these weeds and grass down, good people? The bulk of it is put down all year long. The ending part of the garden season, which is I sometimes start winding it down in the fall, those plants I mow the grass to get in that area, the weeds, and take the weed trim and go all up in that area. Guess what, folks? I'm feeding my soil. That's all I'm doing. I had got more earthworms in my soil than I've had in the whole 19 years I've been on this property. They're everywhere, folks. They're everywhere. The worms are everywhere. And I remember showing a video at work, one of my videos, my recent videos, and I remember what one of my coworkers said. He said, You don't buy worms when you go fishing, do you? I said, no, I don't. Not anymore. I do not buy worms anymore. When I can take the pitchfork, make a couple stabs in the soil, about a foot, and collect about 6 worms right there, 7 worms right there, 10 worms right there. Dig a couple more holes, and then I got over 24 worms to go fishing with. It cost me $0. Worms now at Walmart are $3 for 12. Come on now. Come on. Come on. And they got the audacity to have them small now because they're in such high demand that people buy them before the farmers even get them up to get any size. So back in the day, before we had over 300,000 fishermen in the U.S., they had time to get the worms big. Now people buying them as soon as they get a decent size or okay size to sell them. They're taking them. I tried to donate to you on box one. It will not let me. I don't know how they do the donation thing, but it's I don't know. It should be some instructions there once you hit the dollar sign thing. There should be some instructions there. But I do appreciate it though. I do appreciate it. I appreciate it. It helps me keep going, folks. It helps me keep going. I don't want to sound like one of them telethons that says, "Please send money, please send money." But the thing about it is, I have, and quite frankly, honest, I've done a lot with donations that people have sent me that I had to redo stuff in the garden, and they helped me out like anything from I just do it and pack the seeds or whatever I can do, and I keep it going. But if you get a chance to go to my video, and all I want you to do is look at the video. The should be the second video. You see a picture of my hand. You see a picture of my hand. Look at the soil that you see me holding. It looks like cottage cheese. That's from the glues that are coming from the biology in my soil. It's glues holding things together and allowing it to be soft and crumbly. That's what you want your soil to look like cottage cheese. So that being said, I say grow soil. Concentrate on that soil. And what you see, I'm getting kind of crazy now because I just love it when the soil is just right. And it took me 3 years to get it that way. And all I did is chop, drop, chop, drop, chop, drop. I kept, even sometimes when I thought it didn't even matter, it wasn't making a difference. I said, what am I doing? I am sick of this. This is not working. The first year I started noticing something different. Bigger cucumbers, bigger squash, bigger tomatoes, healthier looking plants. I said, wait a minute. So I kept okay, wait a minute. Weeds are made up of plant matter. Weeds have the ability to draw nutrients from deep in the soil, 7 and 8, 9, 10 feet deep, depending on the weed. So they're pulling up all these nitrogens, these nutrients, they pull them to the surface, they open up their leaves, and then they die one day. So they leave their nutrients on top of the soil. And when they leave that on top of the soil, it creates a food supply for the biology in the soil. Got it. So I'm creating a situation where I'm increasing the biology in the soil. I'm also increasing the amount of organic matter on top of the soil. So if that's taking place, these are beneficial to the soil. They're creating a different soil. They're creating a layer of topsoil. How much is this costing me? Oh yeah, that's right, nothing. Come on. They don't want to tell you that stuff. They want it to seem like there's a couple crazy guys and ladies out there telling you to do this, but it doesn't make a big difference. So come on back to the box store and buy some of this expensive $15 bags of fertilizer. When you buy the fertilizer, all answers will be done. So there you go. There have been plants around long before man hit the scene on this planet. Plants don't need you that much, and wild plants don't need you at all. All we catering to is these plants that man has made very soft and weak when he goes in and does these crosses, and now They grow totally different than they were actually designed to grow. Let's see, morning realtor, and so that's what they're doing. So I take my plants, I put them in the ground. I expect them to do what they're supposed to do because I'm taking care of the soil. And chopping and dropping is incredible. You chop off the top of the weed, it grows back. And what doesn't grow back, the ones that don't grow back, they die in the soil. And they leave all these little channels and openings where their roots were. And then the roots turn into organic matter in the soil and they feed organic matter. They feed the biology in the soil. Incredible. Chopping and dropping. And I love it. I love it. And people see me go outside with the weed whacker. They figure I'm out there trimming things down so that they're neat and they look good to you. No, I'm out there chopping this stuff down so that I can feed my fruit trees. All of these weeds that are around these fruit trees that I have, once I chop them down, they're feeding them. It takes them 3, 4 weeks, and the biology goes in. It starts feeding on the weeds that are decaying. They excrete their waste. They excrete their bodies when they live and die in that location. And all that fertility goes to my trees. That's why my trees are so pretty. They're so pretty. They're beautiful. I use pieces of logs. I cut them into foot sections and I put them around the bases of my tree. All you have to do is see if I'm practicing this is go look at my videos. You will see wood around the bases of the trees. You will see videos of me putting plant life around the base of my trees. You will see very little, if any, bug bites on any of my plants. And the reason why you don't see bug bites is because I have an ample supply of weeds and grass for the bugs to eat. And therefore they don't attack my plants. Not everyone can do what I do because they might live in neighborhoods where if your garden gets a little gangly, people are going to come to you and say, "Hey, clean it up," or "We're going to do this. We're going to do something nasty to you. We're going to do something nasty to you." So what I do is I clean it up enough so it doesn't look, too crazy. But I go around with and I love my new weed whacker. I love my new weed trimmer. I love that sucker. They are right when they say if you put the money in the tool, it's a better deal. This thing is so balanced when I go through. None of the weeds kick it back when I'm going after a weed. It just goes through it. I buy the the most. Even the cord that's on it is brutal. I put in there. It's got these edges all on them, and it's hard. It just goes through stuff. And I'd be afraid to even hit a tree with that cord, one of my small trees, because it might just cut it right off. But I got to get out into the property and get my kiwi is gone crazy. I gave it a little bit of I don't get a kiwi plant blood meal because you can get a kiwi plant out of control when you give it some nitrogen. It'll grow gangly and it'll be all over the place. But I gave it some of the Dr. Earth. Uh, but I always do take my weeds and pile them up around the base of my kiwi plant and let them rot. Let them rot right down around that base, and it makes them suckers grow. Um, so that being said, grow your soil. Make certain that you find a method that works for you. What works for me is chop and drop. Chop and drop works for me, and I will continue to use that because it actually has shown me the results of what it's got to happen. Now I go out there now. Some of my weeds are getting long that are in the growing area where I work at. So what I'm going to do is take my little manure fork, go down, make about a 2 foot hole. When I make that 2 foot hole, every weed that's in that location will gently lift right out. And all you got to be worried about is shaking the soil off so you don't get rid of your soil or move your soil around where you need it and go through that area and you're all set, folks. That being said, this is the Morning Gardener, and I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Keep up the great work, man. I love your channel. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. I try. I try. But I just want to see everyone be successful. That's all. I just want to see everyone be successful in their garden. And I don't want any of you to spend a ton of money in your garden. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You're wasting money. You're wasting it. All right. On that note, this is the Morning Garden. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And remember, keep on growing.